Hi everyone, today we're looking at a British Airways Boeing 747 and what a fantastic aircraft this is. Sadly we don't see these flying around the skies anymore, but we do have a model of this here today so we can permanently admire its excellence. So I've got the model right in front of me here. This is a Hogan Wings 1 to 200 scale British Airways model 747. It's not a die-cast model, so it's not going to be as high quality as some of those metal models that we have, but nevertheless we still get what we pay for. So let's take a look at this model. So starting at the front of the model, we can see the cockpit windows here at the front. There's a good amount of detail on here. We can see the windscreen wipers just there. And we've got the emergency escape hatch that the pilots can use in an emergency. So that's a healthy level of detail to start off with. And then we've got the windows on the lower deck here. I think some of them are like sort of removed, the windows, because we can see the covered up ones there. I think that's where we had like a first class configuration or something like that on the ground deck, or sorry, the lower deck of the aircraft. So where each seat would have had maybe two windows, they just didn't need the extra ones, or so they decided to get rid of them. But there we go. And then moving on, we can see the first door here on the lower deck. So we've got all the markings on the door. The door's got a window, and then in this blue circle here, we can see the One World Airline Alliance logo as well, which is really nice. And then I think one of the most prominent features of the model on this area is the British Airways logo. So we've got the ribbon that goes through all the windows on the top, and then we've got the logo in their typeface here as well. At the top, we've actually got another door here. This door, I've always noticed that the door at the top is bigger than all the doors on the lower deck, and I've never actually known why that is. You can see that one's a little bit taller, and well, if someone does know why that is, then please do leave a comment, because I'm sure we could all learn why that is, that the top door here is, you know, bigger than the other ones. It's always been an interesting detail, I think. But there we go. We've got another door there, all the markings on it, and One World Airline Alliance there as well. And then we've got more windows as we go along, and some of them here are boarded up again. They're not there. So moving along, we can see we've got the To Fly to Serve British Airways coat of arms there on the fuselage, which is nice to see. And then on the top we have some little black spots. I think they're like antenna or little devices on top. Not actually sure what they're for, but there we go. And then as we sort of go along the aircraft, it's not too much more interesting, because it's just more windows and doors for the economy section of the aircraft. But if we actually look on the side underneath a little bit, we can see the aircraft registration there. So hopefully that's in focus, but there's the aircraft registration, and there's the Royal Mail logo as well. And then at the very back, we've got the rearmost emergency exit door on this side of the plane. Okay, so that's that part or side done. If we just take a look at the back of the airplane, we can see the APU exhaust there, which is always nice to see. Some of the cheaper models sort of skip out this detail, so it is nice to see, and you can actually see it's not just painted on there, it's actually like a little metal ring they've put, so you can see it isn't flat there, you know, it's a little metal ring they've put there, so it's got some texture there as well. But yeah, so if we actually then move around to the other side, once again we can see here we've got the registration. And then on this side, you'll actually see some of the cargo doors as well. So we've got one door there and another door there. On the other side, we don't have them, just because, you know, cargo comes out on the right, whereas passengers go out on the left. And then, yeah, we've got all the windows there as well. Put the model down again. So moving back towards the front, we've got the emergency exit door over the wing here. Again, it's pretty similar to all the other doors. And then we've got the British Airways coat of arms, same as the other side. And then this time the British Airways logo that is printed facing this side there. And then we've got the ribbon as always. And then we've got this emergency exit door, which is, like I said again, on the other side, it's taller than all the ones on the lower deck. And then, yeah, back to the front, it's mostly just the repeat of what we saw on the left side of the aircraft. So let's now take a closer look at the front, or the nose. So there's not really much to see here, but this is just, we can now just get a good view of the cockpit and the windscreen wipers there as well. So that's what it looks like. Okay, so now I think we'll study the detail of the wings. So I've always thought the the Boeing 747 wings have had quite a nice shape actually. So if we look at it like this, we can see the wing sweep angle is, I think, higher than other aircraft. So it's the angle that they go back like that. Has always been a bit more than other aircraft. And then it's got the lovely bit of the tail which comes up there as well. But yeah, so on this model, we've actually got a slightly different texture or colour, I would say, on the wings, where we've got the sort of light grey over here, and then it's a slightly more shinier grey in the middle here, which looks slightly different depending on like which way you're looking at it compared to light reflection. So if I was to turn the model around, you can see that this metal bit here, or it's not actually metal on the model, but this texture is more reflective if I point it in the direction of light compared to the other parts of the wing. So it's almost like a mirror, but not quite a mirror, obviously. It's just a bit more reflective. So that's a nice, interesting detail. And then along the aircraft, we've got what appears to be no step markings. So these are these little bits of text. They're extremely hard to see. So if I try and zoom in, maybe we'll get a chance of reading it. I think that's as far in as I can zoom in. But these bits of text that are on the wing, they say no step. So I think it's actually upside down, the way we're looking at it. But yeah, they say no step. So I think for maintenance purposes or evacuations, yeah, don't step on there because I guess it's not safe. Someone in the comments will probably know exactly why it says it, but that's my best guess. And then moving along to the end of the wing, we can see we've got the winglet here as well. As always, the the Boeing 747 winglet comes off at a very sharp angle as well. So there's no curve to it, as you can see. It just comes off at a very hard angle like that. Very distinctive feature of the airplane. So it's obviously different to some of the more modern aircraft you see, such as like the Airbus 350, which has got a curved winglet, or some of the A321s or A320s also have a curved winglet. But yeah, this one's very sort of sharp in angle coming up. And then now if we look at the horizontal stabilizers, we can see we've got more of the no step letters there. And then similar to the main wings, we've got the more reflective material in the middle, the shinier one, and then we've got the lighter grey colour outside of it. And then on the actual tail, we can see the lovely Union flag being waved on the horizontal stabilizer there, and then we've got two of the letters for the registration up there as well, Lima Tango. One interesting thing I should show you about this airplane is that the engines do spin. So these, I think, are Rolls-Royce engines. So actually, if I hold the plane like that, you can see it says Rolls-Royce on the engine that's there. So I think that's one of the engine choices that British Airways had available to them, so they could get Rolls-Royce engines or an alternative. So that's what we've got on this model. And if you can just about see the light going through the engine, Now if I poke it with a pen, you should be able to see it's rotating. So the engines do actually spin, and they have got like blades in them. So if you were to blow air through them, that should make them spin as well. But I'm not going to do that on the video. But yeah, that's another really nice detail of these models, that yeah, the engines do spin, which is I think sometimes quite fun. But yeah. Okay, so that's the most visible part. So if we now just look at the underside of the aircraft, we can see how many markings there are and things like that. So near the front, we've got the nose gear. We've got the 2-letter registration there again, LT. And there's not so many markings on the underside. So if we move along, we can see, I think these are the air intake bleed valves. If I'm wrong, please do correct me, but I think that's where the airplane gets its air to circulate inside the cabin. So they the air from the outside bleeds in through these little shapes, which have valves in them, I think, but I could be wrong. And then moving along, we have the main set of gears. So obviously Boeing 747, massive airplane, so we've got quite a few sets of landing gears here. We've got 4 different sets, and obviously this is quite different from modern twin engine airliners like the A350 or the Boeing 787, which have just 2 sets of landing gears, whereas this has 4 sets. So quite an impressive feature to have, which is always quite interesting to look at, both on the model and, you know, if you're seeing a Boeing 747 landing on a runway as well. So it always is nice for the plane spotters to watch the landing gears spin into action as the plane touches down. So we've got them, and these do actually spin as well, and they sort of turn a little bit like that. So you can roll the model around. I don't tend to that much, but it is possible. And then on the bottom of the wings, we can see that 2-tier material as well. So we've got the sort of more sandblasted reflective material there, and the lighter grey material like that. And actually, one thing we should point out is we've got the lights there as well. So that's the light, so then they can see when they're going in the dark. So that's just on the leading edge of the wing, and yeah. And if we move just to the very edge of the wing, we can see the registration is printed there as well. So that's most of the model. What I'll do now is just sort of show the model as a whole. So one cool thing with the Hogan models is that the landing gears aren't too stiff, which means that you can actually roll the model around like so, and it you know, moves quite freely. But obviously they're not. I don't really like to treat these as toys, so I don't really go racing them around the ground too much. But it's a little bit easier to move sometimes because you can just sort of push it forwards and it will roll. But some of the heavier die-cast metal models, you can't really roll as much because the landing gears are a bit more stiff. So it just makes it a bit easier to move around on this one. And we also do have a stand for the aircraft, so here it is. I'll just pop the aircraft on the stand and then we can look at how that looks. Oop. Sometimes the stands are a bit loose, so I did actually put it in there, but it just fell out as I'm holding the plane, but not the stand. Right, there we go. So now we've got that, and let me just zoom out. There we go. So that's the Boeing 747, the Hogan Air 1-200 scale model for British Airways. I think we've mainly covered everything to do with this aircraft, so I hope you enjoyed this model review. I've got plenty of other videos where I look at all sorts of other models as well on the channel, so if you do have time, much appreciated if you want to check those models out that I've reviewed on my channel. But otherwise, thank you for watching this, and yeah, hope you enjoyed this model review.